As rafts drifted away empty and men milled about on the deck in the just complete chaos, there were 4 men, the 4 chaplains on the ship from all 4 different denominations, giving their own life vests, helping everybody off, and as the ship sank, these 4 chaplains, arm in arm, went to their deaths, praying together, all from different faiths, but it's sort of what inspired this composer to write this piece. So there's a place in here where you'll sort of hear the sonar going off as the torpedo approaches, and then the torpedo impacts, and then the melancholy afterwards. So this piece was inspired by that interesting story, and it's entitled The Light Eternal by James Swearingen. I do want to take this chance to recognize the seniors in the symphonic band. So when I introduce you, please stand. We have Brian Escobedo, sorry. And Andrew Barnes. He's only a senior, and I'm going to blank on Andrew's last name. We have Roman, senior on clarinet over here, Roman Brown. And in the back, I think, do I just have Steve Wanosta on percussion in the back? So those are our symphonic band seniors. We're going to go ahead right now and play a Robert W. Smith piece entitled The Maelstrom. And it's sort of programmatic as well. It's sort of a seafaring kind of piece, and it's sort of about an actual maelstrom is like a vortex that sucks ships down into the depths of the ocean. It's just a nice, light, pleasant piece, lighthearted. So that's sort of the inspiration for this piece, and once again, this is the symphonic band and the Maelstrom. Thank you very much. We're going to take another little quick change. It'll be about. We'll have the wind ensemble. So all wind ensemble players, come around and get set up. Thank you.
Familia. Qué divina. Sí. ¿Cómo estás? Mira que le voy a sacar una foto.
Why don't you drag the kids along, huh?
Yeah, well, I know.
Okay, you may notice the costume change happening in the trumpet section. That's because we're about to play the next piece, which is music from The Incredibles. So we have our superheroes over in the trumpet section. Trumpets always think they're heroes. I think we're all on stage. I think we've got it all worked out. So we're going to play two more pieces for you guys. This is the music from The Incredibles. I guess I need to bring Dave up. We have to do the drawing for our 50-50 before our final number. So while Dave's coming up, Just a couple of friendly reminders. First of all, I want to thank Glenn and Kevin up in the booth for doing tech for us tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. I also want to thank all of the band boosters, Sue, her husband Dave, Monica, Emily was here, Adrian, all of the band boosters. Give a big hand for all of our boosters who brought food and take care of everything. And another big hand for all the seniors in the ensemble. How about all these guys? These are awesome folks. Now, I do want to take this opportunity to remind you, we do have a few events still coming up. On Monday, we're doing the Friendly Valley Memorial Day Parade. I think this is the 4th one we've done, and it's sort of become an annual thing. I think it's awesome. It's a great chance for us to sort of bridge the generation gaps and go and perform for our senior citizens, many of whom are veterans, and it's sort of a special day. You're all invited to come to the parade. The parade steps off at 9:30. Call time will be 8 a.m., so they'll all be there at 8 so we can get into uniform and represent GV well on Memorial Day down at Friendly Valley. That's this Monday. And then, I guess Wednesday will be our final grub night, Grizzly Grub Night at Chili's. So the band will be performing. The last chance you'll get to hear all those lovely pep band tunes that you've been hearing all year, fight song and all that good stuff. Come on out and support, because remember, when you guys go to those grub nights and you have dinner, 15% of that comes back to the band. And if everybody here goes to Chili on Wednesday nights, we're going to make some money, so that would be great. So we appreciate that, and it's the last hurrah for the marching aspect of our program. And then Thursday night, right here and in the cafeteria, will be our band banquet. So we do a potluck. We'll eat at 6, and awards will happen in here at 7. That's next week. And then graduation on Monday the 2nd, and then as soon as school's out, we start band camp for next year. So there's really no rest for the Grizzly Marching Band, but it's been an outstanding year. We've had tons of great success, tons of great music, tons of great support, tons of awesome performances. I really couldn't be prouder of these kids, so they're great. So with no further ado, I believe we have, how much did we get? But I'm a little old school, and I always like to close my spring concert with a march. So we're going to do one of Sousa's most famous marches, and this is the Washington Post. So thank you once again, everyone, for coming. Hope you've had a good time tonight. We're going to close with some John Philip Sousa. very much, ladies and gentlemen. And that is all she wrote. Have a wonderful evening. We will be seeing you all very, very soon. Good night.